If you want to make albums or EPs, then I'm guessing that you wouldn't want your music to be described as functional. But it's interesting that when I ask successful artists or aspiring artists what the purpose of any given song or track is, they will often give me a functional reason for that piece of music to exist. For instance, to make people dance. The thing is, if you want to make music that really speaks to people, one of the best ways that you can do it is by identifying a purpose for that specific piece of music or that specific album. Because what that does is not only does it mean that you're making music that actually means something, I mean, literally, purpose equals meaning, also is a decision, a high leverage decision that sits on top of all of the other decisions that you make, that is outside of what you like and what you want in any given moment. Because what you like and what you want in any given moment is always changing. If you've ever noticed that you've heard a piece of music you're working on 1 minute and you really like it, and then you listen to it the next day and you don't, you'll know what I mean. Whereas when you decide on a purpose for your album or your EP or a specific piece of music, you're making a decision at a point in time which stays static and which is outside of your changing wants. And then you have a way to actually measure how well you're doing, how good that piece of music or that album is. And here is a very simple structure that I use to define a purpose for both my individual songs and for my entire album. It's the one that I'm using right now. And it's a very simple 3-act structure. And actually, it doesn't matter where exactly you start on this structure, so where you start the song or the album, because each of these sections always follow on in this order. But let's start with the red circle, which is what I would describe as being the problem state. So a situation is occurring which might be a problem. Now, on the album that I'm working on at the moment, I'm writing it about this current AI moment that the world seems to be having, the AI explosion. So some words I could use to describe the kind of feelings that I've been having and what is going on are, for instance, fear, hype, and confusion. So when I was making ideas for the album, various different ideas and tracks could fit into this area, right? Into fear, hype, and confusion. They could be expressing those kinds of emotions, those kinds of states of being. So I've organized my ideas in that, and I've selected from that group of tracks for that section of the album. And then in the blue circle, this is the struggle, the process that we use to actually solve the problem. Okay, so in terms of the AI thing that's going on right now, it could be innovation, it could be creativity, it could be iteration, the kind of thing that is going to help me understand what to do, is actually doing something, is actually trying something. And again, there are going to be a number of different pieces of music that I came up with when I was splurging ideas out that fit in this broad area, that are expressing this kind of thing: innovation, creativity, iteration. And then in the yellow circle, this is the section of the album, or even the piece of music, the individual song, that is the solution. So in terms of the album I'm writing now, it could be, and by the way, this is something that I haven't achieved yet in terms of AI, but clarity, knowledge, maybe even some kind of peace. And again, there are going to be certain pieces of music that fit into this bracket. So this is how I'm making progress on my album. This is how I'm actually choosing the tracks, the songs that I am working towards. It's even how I'm deciding what to do in those pieces of music. Because again, the decision to make my album about this and follow this structure allows me to actually decide what I'm going to do next. It allows me to measure if what I'm doing is working or not, outside of my changing wants and likes. Because of course, if you want your music to mean something, then it must have purpose.